Sanjesh, tell us a bit more about Keola, the history behind it, the current projects that you're working on, some of the impacts that you have in the New Zealand housing market today.
Yeah. Hey, look, my background's actually in engineering, so I studied civil engineering many years ago. And after doing that for a bit, I sort of realized that it was a lot of the same old. There wasn't much excitement. We're doing subdivision after subdivision, 50 lots each year for various clients, and it got a little bit boring. So I was always interested in architecture and buildings. And so we decided to actually build our own house, which I project managed myself.
Oh, nice.
And that was quite good. And then someone came in and said, "Hey, look, can you help us do our house?" Which I did. And I thought, oh, actually, this is not too bad. And this is how we started. So we started a couple of projects here and there, and then slowly just reduced my consulting time and got into set up a business and started that, and eventually just got into the business full time about 16 or so years ago. And that's how I got into that, and really enjoyed it from day one. I mean, the first project we did, we got an award for that, and we thought, oh, God, must be doing something right. So over time, because of my civil background, we sort of tended to attract quite difficult sites you cross a stream to get across to the site, very steep sites, weak ground conditions, etc. So we enjoyed doing that because my knowledge was coming into play. And then we got into quite high-end architectural houses from there. So still in the construction side, and a few more years later, we got asked to build a multi-unit development by developer. So we sort of started getting into much larger projects, 15, 20, 30, 50 apartments kind of thing. So, and we sort of stayed in there, and as part of that, we then started getting into social housing. So did a bit of work for the government, Kaingora social houses, some other community providers, community housing providers rather, and that effectively is what we're currently doing. In terms of the last, say, 5 or 6 years, we've also been doing childcare centres, so quite large childcare centres, 150 kids average, and very unique buildings. And on our website, you'll see some of these, some curved buildings, some really sharp buildings, buildings in a forest. And also we were lucky enough to be signed up to build a hotel. So we've just finishing a hotel exciting project. Yeah, that was quite good. Started in just before COVID hit. So it's been a long grind. And then any project we sort of get involved with, also the early stages, even though I'd sort of walked away from civil engineering, it does all come back into play. For example, the hotel project was built on peat, which is very, very weak ground conditions. So there was something like 260 piles. These were 14 meters deep, each of them. And different types of construction methodology, something we hadn't seen before. The machine that came from New Plymouth was probably, I think, 100 or 120 ton machine. Big, massive rig on site. So we all quite enjoyed watching how this is to be done.
Can I ask you a question? Are you making money?
Not as much as I'd like to. And it's this typical construction business. Some years are good, and then the bad projects suck away whatever good you've done.
Because all you have to do is sign up to one bad job.
That's right.
And that's enough to shut your business down, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. You have obviously commercial contracts. You typically you work for the month, send an invoice. If you're lucky, you get paid 20th of the following month. You get your standard retentions, 10%, 5%, whatever retentions get deducted. So that's also, and on top of that, you've also put a lot of the cash that would have been your working capital. You've put that into a locked away account to be used as against a bond. So that's also cash sitting there. So you got your cash is sitting in a bond. You can't touch it. You've got retentions being deducted. You get paid 20th of the following one, by which time you've worked 6 weeks, and potentially if you don't get paid, you've lost 6 weeks of labor and materials. Your margin's expected to be in the single digits.
Are they?
So, well, sometimes, the larger contracts, that's what they would expect. Obviously, there's ways around it, but we generally try not to go there because just madness. But a lot of contributing factors for construction. I mean, if you were to buy a brand new car from the factory, you get a 3-year warranty, maybe 5-year at best. You touch a house, you build a house, or any development, according to the Building Act, you're liable for 10 years.
That's right.
Your warranty period, you buy a TV, it's 12 months. You build a house, your money is stuck for 12 months as a defects period.
That's right.
So a lot of negatives that are associated with construction. I mean, the only reason I do it is because we love the game. That's the only thing. If I didn't have passion for construction...
I've always said it, right? You've got to be a special kind of person to survive in the construction industry.
We're not doing it for the money.
There are not a lot of people in the industry that, it does take a very special kind of person to work in this industry.
So I think in terms of my background in large-scale civil projects and project management, actually then quite easily transferred to construction. So now... I've worked on the consulting side and I've sort of been a client as well as now other contractors. So I sort of cover those 3 bases. So whoever wants to listen, we always sit down and talk them through the project and say, well, this is what I would suggest how we should approach this.
Yep.
We've had projects we're halfway through. Client announces that we need to save 10% on cost, and you try saving $300,000 or $400,000 on a project that's already under construction. I mean, how do you do that? So all these skills come in handy, and I mean, touch wood, we've been able to survive so far, and hopefully,
mate,
carry on.
I'm sure you'll do great things. Like I've seen some of the projects you built, and they're pretty cool. I'm really happy for you and excited.
Yeah. So I think in a roundabout way, our traction now is more commercial projects. So we're basically in the range of 2 million to 20 million. That's kind of like our sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So if for you guys listening out there, if you need anything complex civil wise built or
definitely
any project that's 2 to 20 million, contact Sanjesh here.
Yep. Thank
you.
All
right. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time.
No, it's a pleasure to be here and have a chat. Yeah. Hopefully we can make a difference.
100%. We will. Strive to be better. Right. That's it. Thank you, Sanjesh.
No worries. Yeah. Thanks.